So for today, it's a Christmas to remember.
Christmas to remember.
Christmas to remember.
2019.
And with that,
No pressure.
Are you gonna wrap this one?
How many pages?
wrap it? No, this is. It's let's just leave it at that. So.
It's about the whole family.
I need a softer seat if I'm going to be here long.
We're
Right?
gonna be there long. Alright, we all set this shit?
Okay.
Alrighty. Christmas night is finally here, and we all know what we've waited for. It's this very time right here and right now, this poem, which is quite the chore. It's not all that easy despite how it looks. There's much preparation it takes. The thinking, the planning, the bountiful names, the process I must undertake. I start some time out, many weeks for sure, to be certain I get it just right. Because I only get one chance to shine on this stage, read my poem every Christmas night. Imagine the pressure I put on myself, plus the fact of what you expect. There's only one man who dares pull it off, and that I mean no disrespect. I'm a little braggadocious, quite full of myself when it comes to performing like this. I just know if left to another to try, it'd be a big swing and a miss. And I don't want that for you or the rest to endure, so let's leave it up to the pro. I've been doing this for years. This is 7 in the books. None of you could match my flow. Over all these years, you critics have came and asked why I wait till the end. A long night goes by, dinner and dessert, a present mound one can't comprehend. Gifts handed out one by one for each to be seen and enjoyed. But patience wears thin as kids get restless and parents start getting annoyed. So again, I hear it as I stick to my guns. Why must you wait till the end? Do the poem early before all the presents, but I've yet to give in and bend. They want their cake before the dinner, the cookie before the yam. But that's not the order I was taught growing up. So you wait, early leavers be damned. But it's 8:39, 9:30, oh my, we've been here for hours so far. But what does that matter? The night is not over. I just find this all so bizarre. If you go to a 3-hour movie you've waited for, and it's the best you've seen all year long, at 2:35 do you rise and announce, I've had enough, I'm moving along? Or do you stick around because you value the ending, you want to see how it ends? Now relate that to Christmas, a once-a-year event. You're hanging with family and friends. Best day of the year, bar none in my mind. Advanced planning starts weeks and months out. We make up our lists, we save and we shop, we decorate, go all out and about. For a day just like this, why be in a rush? What else could you want that is better? Hanging, laughing, eating and enjoying, even wearing a Christmas sweater. There's nowhere to be, nothing to run to, your family and loved ones are here. Stick around till the end, enjoy the whole movie, and see the Skillman Christmas Shakespeare. Now, since I'm just ranting along with such pace, let's address the elephant in the room. It's a little bit odd to be standing right here, because next year it's back in my place, I assume. We all can admit that Big Brother swooped in and stole the holiday beneath me. I mean, I made an event and put it on Facebook a year ago today, if you don't believe me. I thought once it's on Facebook, it's super official, like chiseling commandments in stone. But I guess I was wrong, because here we all are. We jumped headfirst into the unknown. Although it's been nice and fun just the same, you know I must give a few punches. It's all in good fun, plus filling more lines. I love you, oodles and bunches.
Back to Steve's.
Now Tom is harumphing and rolling his eyes, not sure what to make of all this. He thought it's gone splendid and I'd leave it alone, but it's not something I'd just dismiss. It needed brought up, so I'd rib him a bit, making it uncomfortable to see. An audience all gathered with listening ears, all eyes are focused on me. About loving oodles and bunches galore, whatever I said some lines back, you know that was just for the sake of the poem. I'm editing it out in the playback. I mean, bro love is one thing to profess out loud, but that was a bit much, you'll agree. We better get back to high fives and handshakes, or soon I'll be sitting when I pee. Well, let's move on to the notable absence. She was the family's matriarch. She touched us all in many ways. She definitely made her mark. A mother, a grandmother, a great-grandmother, a great-great-grandma as well. Sometimes she'd get snarky, a bit agitated, and resort to, oh, go to hell! She was funny like that in her own special way. I know you can all hear her voice. But on the 9th of March, God called her home, and that she can finally rejoice. It was a sad day for all except for her. When she fell asleep, that was a wrap. She wasn't coming back. It was finally time to reunite her with Leonardo, our Pat. 14 long years she awaited that day, but she hung on because of our insistence. Her body was failing in myriad ways, but her heart put up much resistance. Hearing and sight, legs in her back, things just weren't working like before. Our love filled her up and gave her the strength to always say, I love you more. When most people say that, you might give a chuckle, because they probably don't really mean it. But with Nani, it was different. It wasn't a saying. I knew that I always believed it. Every day, morning, noon, and night, she was always taking so many drugs. But even in frailty and constant pain, she gave the strongest hugs. There were many times it was just her and I. She'd call me for help here and there. I'd do what she needed and sometimes sit down, keep her company while she sat in her chair. You see, it's the little things I want to remember, like when her hounding would wear Nana down. The bickering and arguments, they get so annoying, but what I'd give now to have her around. Her days were like clockwork, perfectly scheduled. When she woke, when she sat, when she ate, what she cleaned, when she showered, what she watched all day long, even going up to bed by 8. She was always prepared, planning well in advance. There's probably birthday cards for next year somehow. I know all our birthdays from now till forever, I'll hear her say, "Do you feel any older now?" Each of us remembers certain little things, memories we grasp and hold dear. Even if inappropriate and cringeworthy too. Like that time she said, "Is she queer?" Yeah, she met one of our friends and they were gay, but Nani didn't say it to their face. It was before they met, just Nani being Nan. She didn't always exhibit such grace. She didn't have a filter, just said what she thought. A woman of a different time. You couldn't help but laugh at the things she'd say. It'd roll off the tongue, who would mind? I gotta say my favorite of yesteryear past is one which we're all glad went away.
Oh, God.
It was funny at the time, but racist as hell when she was sweating like a nigger on election day. All of us grandkids, the first time we heard it, were wide-eyed and shocked for sure. We had to explain how wrong that it was, and never saying it again was the cure. Now, I must admit that I heard it more than once, over all the years that I've known her. There was always discomfort. She was so naive. It always made quite the stir.
Sure did.
Oft growing up, I'd stay at her house, with Dan, of course, there by my side. There were many a rule, some weirder than most, but by all of them we had to abide. Like, why was the sink in the bathroom off limits? It's like no one had ever dared to use it. I once turned the water on, then dried out the sink, but somehow her naughty sensors knew it. She wasn't real happy. I thought I was dead, but it's just what the sink was made for. But don't say that to her. Those were fighting words. She'd start a whole Third World War. It was just after breakfast, the first day there. We hadn't even gotten to noon. I was ready to go home, but she had other ideas. She said, "I'll send you to the moon." Pat just sat by and rolled his eyes round, having lived it every day of his life. He knew the drill, Nani ran that house. Just sat back and thought, "Yep, that's my wife." When arguments happened that went back and forth, Nani knew she was never at fault. If the tide was shifting or she was fast losing ground, she would revert to, "Oh, go pound salt." Now with all this said, the funny and the rest, we all knew what Nani was about. It filled her life, her heart, and her prayers. It's family, of that there's no doubt. Thomas and Daniel, Jennifer and Stephen, Michael and Lauren, her grandkids. The sons and daughters of Ralph and Darlene, the two that she called her own kids. Each one grew up and had families of their own. She cherished them all every day. Let's hold fast to that love she so freely gave, even as her memory fades away. Lock it all in and hold it tight, whatever you must do to savor it. I'm glad I was the one to write this tribute, because as she always said, I was her favorite. Right? Love you, Nani. That was for you. There's one other lady who's been having it rough. This last month has been the worst. We're praying for healing, a God-given miracle, for a disease that's not easily reversed. I'm glad that she's here because she's one of the fam. We know her as Pam's mother, Donna. We kick off the gifts with a surprise she won't want. It's a rare 5-legged iguana. We might as well stay with the kids of Pam, so Colton, it's time for you here. You, the mop-top, red-headed child, in time with the ladies you'll endear.
You can change the game.
But now's not the place to talk about that. It's time for a change-up for you. I got you some hair dye. It's different for sure. I hope you like cobalt blue.
Do I change the game?
Now, what should I get for a girl just like you? Someone I know so little. I could get you some candy, a Kit Kat or Snickers, or maybe just one lonely Skittle. But that doesn't seem right. You need something better, something of shock and awe. I'm sending you to the Walmarts in Bentonville, Arkansas. Must have been for Kimmy. I must not have put a name in. Hey, a little oversight. Now let's turn our attention to a fine young man. Cody, he's decided to defend this nation. On November 8th, he finished basic training as an honored airman at graduation. He received some ribbons like for honor grad. There were only 10% who earned it. But a marksman was he, 2 of 683. He worked hard and definitely deserved it. He's found his calling, something he loves so much, to each his own, as they say. It was never my thing, listen to someone yell orders. I wouldn't do well there, no way. But thank the good Lord that there's men just like you, ones prepared for the sacrifice. We'll pray for you, your safety each and every day, hoping you never pay the ultimate price. Now that is the check that you willingly signed, and for that we're all thankful and proud. It sounds good in theory, but here's the truth. Don't cash it in, you're not allowed. Before you head back to the west coast out there where it's sunny and warm and you're free, I figured with the ocean hop, skip, and a junk, you'll need a life jacket with your new jet ski. Well, now that we're talking about servicemen here, let's turn our attention to the stunner, because in some due time, a few years down the road, we'll be calling him Dr. Hunter. I'm not really sure that I'll get used to it, or even ever address him like that. There's a part of me that wants to remember him young as a pesky, annoying gnat. But we all grow up and someday become useful, an honorable society member. But he'll have the knowledge and opportunity for sure to possibly maim and dismember. He has lots of training, there's more to come, he's putting it in application. So I'm buying you a game to help out a bit, that one you might know, Operation. Now, moving along to Dakota, your brother, I wasn't really sure if he'd come, but I couldn't deny him a place in the poem. If there's a chance, that's my rule of thumb. Not everyone makes it, and that's okay, but my list was created weeks back. The last thing I want is for family to be here, and I missed them, they fell through the crack. So, Cody, what should I get for you, man? There's so many options right now. I think I might have an idea for you. I think you'd like a horse plow. Now, granted, your yard might be a bit small, but that's not my problem to solve. That's an issue for you and Shauna, my friend. I'm sure you can both resolve. Well, I'll stay with the couple and move on to Shauna. I must think of something she'll use. Could give her some drugs, create an addiction, then treat her for substance abuse. But that'd be mean, and that's not my style, so I'll stick to something less evil. I'll get her an insect, a beetle in fact, a specific one called a boll weevil. Now, moving along to some other young kids. Hello, you Granberg horde. You're waiting so patient to hear your name, I'm going to get to you before you get bored. I'll start with the youngest, Elizabeth, sweet child. You with a smile for days. This won't be exciting. The grocery store had this. It's a jar of Hellman's mayonnaise. This is when things get a bit serious, when I turn my attention towards Alex. In the past, I emphasized he was my arch rival. I'd even write it in italics. But something's changed more recently. He's gotten a teensy bit sweeter. So my gift won't be me, just a mystery to most. It's a laboratory refractometer. I can tell by the quizzical looks all around, you all haven't a clue what that is. But once I tell you this is vital information, it'll be ready in case there's a quiz. It's a device for the measurement of an index of refraction, calculated from Snell's law for mixtures. If you'd like to see one when this poem is over, I can look it up and show you some pictures. Let's just assume that you couldn't care less. You prefer that I just move along. If you think I'm showing off when I put definitions in, and they flow seamless, you wouldn't be wrong. It's just that darn good, and this is the chance to prove to you why this is my time. The dinner at 5 and presents at 7, but the poem is saved for prime time. Well, enough about me, at least just for now. I'm going to pick on Aaliyah. Third youngest in the troop, a smart one for sure. I think I might have an idea. I've done an inventory of what you have, and now I might know what you need. A human-propelled land vehicle with one or more wheels. You know it as a velocipede. Just go look it up. I'm not making this up. The most common type is the bicycle. I put myself into a quandary for sure. What rhymes with that? Bicycle? I almost took out those last two lines because that rhyming didn't come into flow. A full complete sentence or thought or phrase, but sometimes that's just how it goes. Now, where is Alyssa? I know that she's here. I don't want her to get all miffed. So I better jump in and give her the stage. It's time for her one weird Christmas gift. In the past, she received a wrestling ring and dove, a Dixie Cup sewage farm and pencils. But I'll have you know many people consider all those are kind of essentials. So I'm thinking this year I want to keep going and give you a present you'll treasure. A gift you'll hold on to and cherish forever. Your happiness will be beyond measure. I think that you'll be the talk of the town when others just see what you got. It won't be a dart gun or bow or an arrow, but a sword used by Sir Lancelot. Oh, Alana dear, I must be the first to tell you, you can't use the sword. With your anger issues and mental state, it's the carnage we cannot afford. And now I can see that you're angry at me for going public and calling you out. But can't we admit that your reaction right now is enough to say there's no doubt? I mean, only angry people who are crazy inside would dare be upset at all this. I hope that in time you'll forgive me for sure. We'll make it up with a hug and a kiss. But for now, keep your distance. I'm scared for my life. I'm not really sure what you'll do. You're definitely a wild card, we can all admit. That's why I'm sending you on a trip to Peru. That leaves only one, the oldest boy age, he of the game skills on soccer. When we play, there's only one goal in our mind. It's to crush them. Our scores are a shocker. It became so unreal that we'd chronicle our games by sending Daniel a text. Every time we did score was amazing to him. It wouldn't be long till the next. You see, I do play with AJ and Dan. We team up and kill the computer. I pass them the ball through precision on through balls. I assist when they are the shooter. But AJ's the best. It frustrates Dan, so he can't quite see how things add up. He thinks I play different and won't tell him how. He asks if we use the same setup. Well, anyway, back to the task at hand. It's time I give AJ his present. It might be uncomfortable, unbearable, and awkward, embarrassing, and even unpleasant. And now that you're wondering what error it could be, as I write this, I don't really know. I think that I'll send you to the Fiesta Bowl with the condition that you must streak commando.
Oh.
Well, Madison, dear, I think it's your chance to find out what you might receive. I'm sure it'll shock you and take you aback. It's something that's hard to believe. I'm building suspense while I think what it is. I kept writing over the sentence. Not once, not twice, but thrice I kept writing. I must think of something momentous. But what should I get for a girl just like you, unique in your own special way? I could buy you some reins or a harness or bit or maybe just a bale of hay. But that's not momentous. It won't be shocking. I must go big or go home. I'm gifting you a gastrointestinal disorder. It's irritable bowel syndrome. I know that's a rough one and hard to follow. I'm sure you'll get over it soon. But I'm moving on to Olivia, not here, but her absence doesn't make her immune. In fact, when I ponder if that should affect what I dream up to gift her this year, I can't help but say yes, and that's on her. The result could be kind of severe. So with that, here goes. I'm sorry in advance. No one's going to like what she gets. I'm starting her addiction at a ripe young age. Here's a carton of old gold cigarettes. I know she's 11. How could I dare? But that's what happens when you skip. And don't give me excuses or where else she is. I'm not up here taking your lip.
Wait, who's he talking to?
There's two other people who won't be here, but throughout the year they come by. I'll start with Gabriel, Jay's eclectic son. Wouldn't it be fun seeing him? Hi. At first I was thinking I could send him somewhere, like a resort in the middle of Botswana. But with drugs in mind, I got him a job, and with the Colombian cartel selling marijuana. Now, dear sweet Kaylee, I won't do her like that. I'll keep it on the up and up. No drugs or addictions or anything like that, but she's going to need to pucker up. I'll set the mood with some bongos and congas, a trumpet, a trombone, and maraca. She's going on a date where a kiss is expected with a long, hairy Surrey alpaca. Jay might as well be next. Cross the Dells off my list. What do I get for a tech guy? He's never dressed up, always jeans and a shirt. He's not the type for a necktie. He owns Apple Watches and Apple TVs, iPhones and iPads and smart stuff. No matter how connected and cool it all is, he'll never really have enough. I wonder if his gadgets and cameras galore and everything he has over there is compensation for what he is lacking, a beautiful full head of hair. Just think of it, everyone. He's always been bald. We've never seen his long, luscious mane. Next Christmas we will, because I'm gifting to him a year's supply of Rogaine. Let's go to Sally while Jay's saying, hell no, and just move on from the fuss. I won't take complaining or stomping of feet. It's not something I'll ever discuss. So Sally now will get the big brunt of my anger and utter frustration. Here's an HB12 financial calculator. It uses reverse Polish notation. Oh, mother dear, I feel for you now. You know this can't end well for you. It's got to be good and surprising for sure. Something way out of the blue. Nothing you'd think of or ever wish for. It won't be a trip here or there. Here's a fancy breed of domestic rabbit. It's the long, slender Belgian hare. Dad, my father and mentor too, you've taught me so many things. I've learned so much from watching you that now I can spread out my wings. I feel there's a bond that my brothers don't have. They should certainly be jealous of me. Worked with you for the past 10 years, there's nothing I'd rather be. This job has been great and provided time off to enjoy with my kids and my wife. You always said, find something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Oh, how very true that statement is. At the start I was just optimistic. Who would have thunk 20 long years ago I'd grow up and be teaching statistics? So this is my way of saying I thank you for believing when I was unemployed that this is the job that I'd grow into loving. It filled a dark, empty void. Now, what do I get for a dad just like you? One backing off and handing me the keys? Well, there once was a job for A. Schulman one year. We lost because we didn't speak Portuguese.
Very cool.
I could buy you a book that would teach you the language in case you ever visit Brazil. If that's not in the cards, I could always come over and watch you practice while I sit and chill. I do think a trip, a definite vacation, would work if I hit it out of the park. That's why I'm sending you to Northern Europe to visit our friend Ben in Denmark.
Oh, nice.
Let's go over my brother-in-law Joe. He of that stiff disposition. He stands so upright, it's kind of uptight. I wonder if he's got some condition. like a stick up his butt or a burr in his saddle, something that stiffens his stance. He needs to unwind and loosen it up. How about a song and dance? Yeah, I didn't think so. That's not his thing. And frankly, I was scared for us all. Because whatever he did, we'd all have to listen. But thankfully, he doesn't have the gall. I think that's it. I know what his gift is, but he must have no inhibition. I got you a job as a stripper downtown. Your name is Joe Star, limited edition. Normally strippers name other strippers. Sandra, you'll have to change your name too. To Misty or Kitty or Roxy or Journey, Electra or Cashmere or Blue.
Oh,
That was your life. I can only imagine what would it be your number one goal. So I stepped up and got it. It's collapsible and sturdy. It's a Lil Minx stripper pole. Who's going to follow the family of strippers? There's no way to segue real easy. I'll have to find someone who's pure at heart, someone not nearly as sleazy. There's one for sure that comes to my mind, especially with those left to go. Our nurse lady Rachel, the one who saves lives, and if she doesn't, we'll never really know. So keep up the mystery and let us believe that you're some kind of hospital hero. It'd be disappointing if the lives that you've saved turned out to be right around zero. Keeping this in mind, I have an idea. Everyone you help, you will please. I'll give you healing power as the Empress of Healthcare, the Overlord of all disease.
Oh.
Oh.
There are 2 kids left I haven't brought up. They probably thought I forgot them, but that isn't happening, not ever for sure. They're my own kids. You think I'm that dumb? People don't answer. I hear all the rumblings, the talking's all under your breath. I wouldn't want to add a verse to this poem detailing your untimely death. That's right, I have the power in my hand to never in the future call your name. From this poem you'll be struck, never heard from again. You only have yourself to blame. This definitely turned morbid, a tad bit dark. It's not where I wanted to go, but that's how this works. I followed the story. I just went along with the flow. Now, back to my kids. We'll go Ari to start. You who likes music and dancing. You imitate people on TikTok and YouTube. Sometimes you move like you're prancing. I have just the thing that'll be loud and funny. It's certainly not real low key. It's for one or more people to stand and perform, a machine to sing karaoke. Tegan, my youngest and fiercest of kids, you with the waves in your hair. When you all get playing and things get real serious, you get that mean, deadly stare. It's a teensy bit scary, I must admit. That's why we demand you cool down. And once you get going and the growling begins, I don't want to be anywhere around. But that's my girl. I'll support you forever. I know you're expressing your passion. I just wish that you'd dial it back and display it in another fashion. Now, moving along before you get all furious and take out your anger on me. I tried to be nice and make your gift fruity. I bought you a strawberry tree.
Woo.
Let's shift to my wife, Aunt Sammy to some, or mommy or daughter or friend. Whatever relation she might be to you, I just know she's been a godsend.
Aw.
It's been 8,180 days since we met in the basketball court. I went with a friend just to play some hoops. My focus was all on the sport.
You better be good.
Within 2 short hours, I never expected I'd meet a girl who'd soon change my life. Almost 7 years later, I'd make it official, put a ring on, and make her my wife. It's not all been easy. There's been bumps in the road. She'd readily admit that it's true. But when we committed, for better or worse, we promised that we'd make it through. And that's what we've done in our own unique way. I love her more now than before. Every day is a blessing of that, I am sure. I can't wait for what the future has in store. So here's some champagne that I poured in a glass. It's a Pinot Noir and it's bubbling. It's time for celebration as I check off your bucket list. I'm sending you off to Dublin.
Hey, you were actually nice to me this year.
Wouldn't that be cool? It's too bad this is fake. It's all just a poem I have fun with. I'm not really rich and can't afford all this. My wealth in this poem is a myth. I know it's depressing, but just think how I feel. I show off and talk a big game. My real presents and pencils and lint balls and toothpicks, I know it's all pretty lame. So back to the story where I can keep dreaming of presents we'll all never get. Like a 500 horsepower fire engine red 2020 Chevy Corvette. But I'll go much cheaper with a public service announcement, as I am the one to go next. I'm buying myself a full body condom. All you kids remember practice safe sex. Now when I say kids, you probably think young ones, but that's not the only ones I meant. I'm thinking of Thomas and Pamela Skillman 3 days in their wedding event. I know they've been celibate and keeping it pure, waiting till the night of their marriage. But I don't want to, on Pam's 43rd birthday, be gifting a small baby carriage. So lock it all down and wrap it all up. Keep all your clothes on and spoon her. Because 9 months from now, we don't want any surprises, like the birth of a little Tommy Jr. That's why Pam this year I'm protecting you, dear. I got you something factory built. It's got a lock, key, and combination too. It's an impenetrable chastity belt. By the time he breaks in, he'll be out of the mood and frustrated from all the stress. That's why I'm here stopping all of that cheer, and I'd like to call that success. With all that frustration, I know Tom will be annoyed. That's why I'm gifting to you a trip to Mali near the Niger River, a place called Timbuktu. Now that leaves just one. I'm down near the end, and we all know that it's Dan. He thinks a bit different than many of us here. He's been vocal on just where he stands. Take gun control is one of the issues, where I know if he had his way, he'd take all Tom's guns and everyone else's and have them all thrown away. And what about Bernie? We know he likes Bernie. He with his socialist agenda. He's not what I think is best for this country, but he's a top Democratic contender. And what about dogs? He likes little yappers, ones that weigh 5 pounds or less. Granted, that means when an accident occurs, it's just a small, tiny mess. Then there is boxing, that rough, brutal sport where men in a ring go to brawl. It's a dying sport. UFC's where it's at. Can't you like something with a ball? Oh yeah, there's the Browns. You're a diehard fan until they start losing, and that's old. Then you quickly jump ship across the eastern state line, start rooting for the black and gold. And what about Brussels sprouts? They never did anything, yet we all know you hate them so. They're a small mini cabbage with the proper seasoning. With almost any dinner, they'll go. These are just a few things that you're not with the masses. I mean, come on, let's be real. Small dogs and Bernie, the Browns and boxing, no guns or Brussels sprouts, that's your deal? As I bring up these things, especially early on, you probably all thought, what's he doing? I hope that you've learned that by now there's no subject that I won't consider pursuing. For the sake of this poem and its longevity, there's nothing that's off the table. As long as it's funny and adds to the story or it rhymes, then I'll use it if I'm able. I'm going to go back and bring up the Browns. What a frustrating season they've had. After 7-8-1 and some key acquisitions, no one thought they'd be this bad. There were many predicting success was a given, but just how good would they be? 9 wins or 10, 11 or bust in the playoffs we'd certainly see. Months went by, it was summer of dreaming, projections and overanalyzing. There was finally a team the Browns put together on paper. They were so tantalizing. But then the season came and the Tennessee Titans, a 43-13 defeat. We put on the brakes and took a step back and said, holy shit, we got beat. Weeks went by and fans got a sense the season was more of the same. Was it the quarterback or coach's fault? Does it matter? It's all a damn shame. We're now at the point where we're the only team without a winning record all decade. It's not a surprise, but there's hope for us yet. We've only sucked when we've played. If you take all our bye weeks and Monday film sessions and Tuesdays when everyone's off, we're a formidable opponent who's dangerous for sure, not a team you can just write off. So that's the goal. We should schedule more bye weeks. On them, we've remained undefeated. Less of the games where we have to get dressed, and historically, we've competed. So that is your charge as I turn over the reins. This will be our new team approach. I got you a job, so make sure that it happens. You are the new Browns head coach. In order to prep them for many more off weeks, your practices should be a big void. Then I think they'll be ready to bring them on in and tell them all you're unemployed. Now, let us give thanks that we're not the Browns. You can see all around that we're blessed. Unlike them, we have hope down the road. Just believe and God's handled the rest. So as I close, I must bring it all back to the day God's Son came to earth. Santa is nice and we all love the presents, but Christmas is the day of Jesus' birth. Merry Christmas, Skillmans, and Nani, this year was for you. We all love you and miss you very much. Yes. For the first Christmas without you, I hope I made you proud. A tribute in a poem can never replace a person like you. Love, your golden grandchild, a.k.a. your favorite, a.k.a. Hardhead Henry. Steve Skillman, there are pictures.